Hey folks, we're here with PZTV and we are with Josh Peck here at Hear The Watchmen. This has been an absolutely insane conference. Lots of fun, great sessions, incredible speakers, lots of cool books and stuff. Josh, dude,
Yes.
How have you loved this conference?
Oh, it's been awesome. And one of the coolest things is I finally get to meet in person my good friend Ray Gano. We've been friends for years now.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. Ever since my, I think my hip surgery was when I first interviewed you on Sharpening Report.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this has been a lot of fun. And yeah, meeting you, meeting your wonderful wife.
Yeah.
Your great kids. This has been a great conference. I've been asking everybody this. I have been seeing a theme in this conference. Have you been noticing that too?
Yes. Yeah. A couple of different things. Mainly, though, putting love first. Like, that's one of the coolest things that's been coming out is in everybody's talk so far that I've seen, and so far I've seen all of them because it's all in one big room, which is so cool. But it seems like a common theme is the church really needs to get up and get ready and get a hold of what we're supposed to be doing as Christians. And a big part of that is loving one another. Just as simple as that. You would think that would be basic Christianity 101, but unfortunately, we live in an age where it's not. We have to be reminded of that kind of stuff. But we got to get up and get busy for the Lord because time is short.
I really loved your session. In fact, it was... I really honestly was not expecting that sort of speech to come out of you. And in fact, a lot of people, that seems to be the resounding opinion. And tell the folks your title.
Yeah, it's The Risk of Dismembering the Body of Christ, How Cannibal Christians Could Usher in the Apocalypse. And basically the term cannibal Christian or Christian cannibal, sometimes I use them interchangeably, but I first heard it from Mike Kerr. Mike and Jeannie are the ones that are running the conference, and he told me that he heard it from Steve Quayle. And I'm good friends with Steve, and so I didn't mind kind of borrowing that, but I'll give him credit for it. But it's a perfect title for what these people are. I mean, sometimes we call them like internet trolls. We see them a lot on Facebook and YouTube, not so much in person, which is strange. In person, usually these people are very nice and kind, so they know how to be polite. Yet, it's like a switch goes off in some people when they're online, when they're on Facebook or YouTube. In the comments section, they think, well, it's not reality, these aren't real people. And I know because I used to be one years and years and years ago. And I never shared that part of my testimony before, but in this one I did. So usually people, and I heard that a lot too, people were expecting something about science or quantum physics, something like that from me, maybe UFOs. And that's usually what I talk about. But I started to write a presentation. I think I'm going to have to save this one for the Blessed Hope Conference later this year. But I was starting to write a presentation about official disclosure and the WikiLeaks, Podesta emails and stuff like that. And I have more than enough material on that. Tom Horn and I have been researching that for months now. So I started to write that, but there was a block. I just couldn't get there. So I was praying about it, and I was talking to my wife about it, and she's so awesome. She's just the voice of reason. She's like, well, do something else. I'm like, yeah, do something else. That makes sense. So I was praying, and just this idea of love kept coming up, but that's so broad and general, and I couldn't think of like how to focus it. But then I started noticing, and I mean, this has been a common thing throughout Skywatch, and anybody that has a big YouTube channel, or any YouTube channel has probably seen this. You've probably seen this. We get trolls, and so we block them, we delete their comments, and we move on. We don't ever think about them again. Unfortunately, not everybody does that, and that to me is like the most surprising thing, because that takes their power away. We wouldn't have internet trolls if everybody would just block them so they can't get back on your channel, delete their comments so nobody can read them, then move on. Don't think about them again. People will get involved with these internet threads that are 600, 700 comments long, and nothing gets solved. No understanding is reached, no compromise, no acceptance of opinion. All it does is it roots people in their own original positions. And there's a lot of different ideas that bring out people like this, and as I said in the presentation, it's not the ideas or the groups necessarily that are the problem. You can find it in any group or any political system or really anything, and it's always been that way. But it's the extremists. Part of the problem too is they're the minority. The trolls are the minority. The majority of Christians involved in some of these things, they want to be polite. They kind of bow out of the conversation. But that gives the whole platform to the cannibals, to the trolls. So a big part of my talk was, I don't think we can just stand by and give them the platform anymore. Let's lead by example. Let's fill the comment section with good conversation. It's okay if we disagree. Let's talk about our different points on things, even if it's something as controversial as flat Earth. I don't believe in flat Earth at all, but some people do, and that's fine. But when somebody is going to tell me that I don't believe in the Bible, or I must not be a true Christian if I don't believe the Earth is flat, that's it. I'm done. I'm out of the conversation, because there's no discussing with somebody like that.
Yeah.
But now, if somebody is like, well, what leads you to believe the Earth is round? What scientific things can you think of, or what have you read in the Bible about it? Here's what I think, and here's where I come from, and I respect your opinion. That's cool, and so yours is too. That's the kind of conversation I'm interested in having. No matter what the topic is. So I allow people to have their opinions, and I feel people should allow me to have mine. And I think if we all did that, things would be a lot easier, and we'd get along a lot more.
Yeah, yeah. Out of all the speakers and everything, I've really enjoyed a lot of them. I loved your speech and everything. What's been some of the highlights for you?
Oh man, yeah, it's tough. It would be tough to choose one. I really liked Coach Dave Daubenmayer's presentation. That was cool. That was the first time that I heard him. Actually, it was kind of a funny story. The first time that I was at a conference with him was in Ohio a few years ago, and I was at my table, so I didn't get to hear him speak, but he was upstairs in a room down the hall, and I still heard him speak. So that was pretty cool. But it was great to see it live. I agree with everything he said. A lot of what he said paralleled with what I was saying, because he a big part of my thing was real, true biblical love. It's difficult. It's hard. It's strong. It's not this wussy, wimpy, liberal idea of love that Hollywood gives us.
Yeah. And
that was a big part of his. I like that a lot too. Carl Gallups. Oh man, what an animated speaker! He is amazing. This was the first time I heard Billy Crone speak. That was great. That was really, really cool. There are just L.A. of course. L.A. Marzulli is always great to listen to. It was good to meet John B. Wells. He actually introduced me, so that was fun. I'm trying to think who Pastor Paul Begley. I just heard him. Just heard him give a sermon, which was amazing. Really, every speaker that I've heard so far, I've been able to take something away from, and I've been able to see parallels. Even in my own life. So that's the coolest thing about this conference, is just that convergence.
And that's an interesting point. A lot of conferences you go to, you can't really, there's some speakers that you may not really connect with. And that is true. Every speaker I have connected and have been able to pull nuggets of information. It's like, epiphany moments, like, oh, wow moments, like, wow, I never thought of that. Derek Gilbert yesterday was absolutely insane.
Yeah, I can't forget about Derek Gilbert and Michael Lake. Yeah, Derek Gilbert, especially that last half hour. I mean, the whole presentation was good, but the last half hour I cried. It was amazing. Phenomenal. Michael Lake, too, he always does a great job. I love Michael Lake's whole thing. The coolest thing about them is, Michael Lake's more Torah observant, and Derek isn't. And both those ideas, to be or not to be Torah observant, kind of came up in their speeches. But right afterwards, even though they disagree on something, they're hugging and laughing, and it's so cool. And I feel like that towards them too. And I think with that particular issue, I'm probably a little in the middle. but I love them both, and but it's just great to see that. I like how Mike and Jeannie kind of explained the conference. It's kind of like a buffet. You may not get. Not everybody might, be your speaker, the guy that you came to see. But it's a buffet, you can pick and choose kind of what you like. So there are differences in opinions that come out, but nobody fights about it. And everybody respects and loves each other regardless of that. And I think that is just the coolest thing.
Well, something I've really strongly noticed is that here is all these diverse speakers. None of you guys got together and say, hey, let's all talk about this.
Right.
Yet, almost all the speeches dovetail into one another. It's been incredible.
It's a total God thing.
Total God thing. Tell me about your latest book.
Abaddon Ascending. Me and Tom Horn wrote it. It's all about CERN, quantum physics, the role of quantum physics and CERN specifically in Bible prophecy, the return of the old gods, lowercase g, for anybody who wants to bust me on that. It's totally fine as long as you don't capitalize the G, but I guess just another one of those troll things. But so it's all about that kind of stuff. Where likely the next few years will take us with advances in quantum physics and some of the experiments that they're doing at CERN and trying to open a portal and bring things through. And it's not even a weird, wild conspiracy theory. They have this on their website that they want to bring things through. It's crazy.
What are they going to bring through, in your opinion?
My opinion,
speculation.
I think it'll be Revelation 9.
Okay.
I think those locust type creatures, the fallen cherubim that we read about. I think that is describing, and maybe not even at CERN, because there are other particle colliders. There's other ones that are being built that are going to be like 20 times the strength. So it might be in China or Japan, or we'll have to wait and see. But I think that if somebody somewhere is able to open one of these portals, I think that is going to be what comes through.
So gates of hell thing?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about Skywatch TV, what you're doing there, what you and your wife are doing there,
Sure.
What's coming up, what's going on.
Yeah, Skywatch TV. Well, right now we have a couple of interviews that are playing with Carl Gallups, and totally awesome guy, by the way, great guest. And so those are playing now, and I think after him will be, the next couple of weeks will be Bob McGinnis. He's talking about the prevalence of witchcraft in Washington, and how the Trump presidency might actually change all that. Thank God, we need it. So that's kind of what's coming up. And then after that, I don't know if it's too early to reveal anything, so I'll just have to tell people you will want to watch Skywatch TV, because there's some huge things. There's some giant things coming up.
Awesome.
I'll let the audience decide if that's a pun or not.
Awesome. Give me your website, give us Skywatch website, how to get your book.
Absolutely. SkywatchTV.com is the Skywatch TV website, and you can go to SkywatchTVstore.com too. You'll find all my stuff there, or you can go to SharpeningReport.com. That's where you can get, that's just like solely my stuff. Also, my wife and I host a show called Into the Multiverse, so that's at youtube.com/IntoTheMultiverse, and then I created a show called The Sharpening Report, which Ray Gano's been on a couple of times, which is, you can find that at youtube.com/Josh Peck Disclosure. And I'm also on Facebook and Twitter. Email jpeck@skywatchtv.com. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Josh. It's been a wonderful conference. We'll talk again soon.
Absolutely. Thank you.